Napoleon Bonaparte was a multifaceted figure whose personality was shaped by an intense drive for power, strategic genius, and an almost obsessive need for control. He was deeply influenced by the Enlightenment of thinkers in his time, particularly those who championed rationalism, meritocracy, and the concept of the great man in history. His ideas informed his belief in his own desire and his right to rule, which he saw as a mission to bring order and stability to a chaotic Europe. In strategy, Napoleon was a master of military tactics and logistics. His campaigns were characterized by speed, surprise, and the ability to outmaneuver opponents through the rapid concentration of forces at decisive points. He was particularly skilled at using deception and misdirection, often concealing his true intentions until the last moment. His strategies were not just about brute force. They were deeply analytical, based on keen understanding of geographic, troop movements, and psychological state of both his soldiers and his enemies. Napoleon's personality was also marked by a profound understanding of human nature, which he used to manipulate both his allies and adversaries. He knew how to inspire loyalty and fear, often employing a combination of rewards and punishment to maintain control. He had a keen eye for talent and surrounded himself with capable individuals, though he demanded absolute loyalty and could be ruthless if he perceived any disloyalty or incompetence. Despite his military and political success, Napoleon had notable personal flaws. He was impatient and could be intolerant of inefficiency or dissent, often resorting to authoritarian measures to get his way. His ambition sometimes blinded him to the limits of his power, leading to overreach, as seen in his disastrous invasion of Russia. He also wasn't particularly skilled at diplomacy outside of the battlefield. His attempts at maintaining alliances were often hampered by his domineering nature and inability to see others as equals. Napoleon had a voracious appetite for work, often sleeping only a few hours a night and spending the rest of his time planning campaigns, reading reports, and issuing orders. His intellectual curiosity extended beyond military matters. He was interested in history, science, and literature, and he encouraged cultural and scientific advancements within his empire. However, he had little patience for abstract philosophy or anything that did not have a practical application. In his personal life, Napoleon could be both charming and manipulative. He had a complex relationship with women, viewing them as both objects of affection and tools for political alliances. His relationship with his first wife, Josephine, was deeply passionate, though marred by mutual infidelity and his eventual decision to divorce her when she could not produce an heir. Napoleon was also known for his mood swings. He could be warm and engaging one moment and coldly calculating the next. Napoleon's dislikes included incompetence, indecisiveness, and anything that threatened his authority. He was particularly irritated by bureaucratic inefficiency and would often bypass established procedures to get things done more quickly. His disdain for the old aristocratic and their privileges was well known, stemming from his belief in meritocracy and his own rise for relatively modest beginnings. Analysts and historians have often described Napoleon as a man of contradictions, a visionary leader, a military genius who sometimes let his ambitions lead to catastrophic decisions, a man who could inspire deep loyalty but also provoke intense animosity. He could be both charming and ruthless, warm and calculating. His legacy is a testament to the complexity of his character, as both a hero who reshaped Europe and a tyrant whose quest for power ultimately led to his downfall. Napoleon's personality and psychological makeup align closely with the mogul archetype in our system, characterized by his dominant extroverted thinking and auxiliary extroverted sensation. As a mogul, Napoleon's strategic brilliance, organizational prowess, and pragmatic approach to leadership were rooted in his TE-driven mindset. His ability to manage vast resources, implement complex military strategies, and maintain control over his empire illustrates the influence of TE, which prioritized efficiency, order, and tangible results. This is evident in his detailed planning of military campaigns, where he meticulously organized supplies, troops, and logistics to ensure victory. His auxiliary function SE further enhanced his capability to react swiftly to the immediate environment. Napoleon's keen awareness of the physical realities on the battlefield allowed him to adapt to rapidly changing circumstances and seize opportunities as they arose. SE's focus on the present moment and concrete details contributed to Napoleon's effectiveness in military engagements, where he often outmaneuvered opponents with quick, decisive actions. His disregard for abstract philosophy or concepts without practical value underscores his preference for a pragmatic approach to thinking, anchored by an extroverted focus on tangible and immediate aspects of reality. However, Napoleon's contradictory nature can be understood through the concept of typhoon development and potential polarization. The typhoon development describes the unconscious pull of the inferior function introverted feeling, which exerted a subtle yet significant influence of his psyche. If I focus on personal values and internal judgments, conflict with his dominant TE-driven approach. This created an internal tension as Napoleon struggled to reconcile his ambitious, outwardly driven persona with his deeper, more personal desires and values. His appreciation for the aesthetic and sensory pleasures, such as fine art, luxurious surroundings, and elegant clothing, also reflects the unconscious influence and pull of FI in his personality. The polarization in Napoleon's psyche manifests in a split between his conscious personality, TESE, and the unconscious aspects, FI plus NI. While his TESE functions dominated his conscious behavior, driving his ambitions and tactical decisions, the unconscious pull of FI and NI created moments of inconsistency and overreach. For instance, his invasion of Russia can be seen as a manifestation of his split, where his grand vision and deeply held personal convictions led him to make decisions that were ultimately detrimental to his empire. This polarization may have caused Napoleon to project a certain image to the world of a rational, strategic leader, while internally he grappled with conflicting emotions and unfulfilled personal desires. His preference for solitude later in life, his romantic idealism and belief in his destiny suggest as increasingly influence of the unconscious functions. These functions, however, remained underdeveloped and unintegrated, leading back to a back and forth between his dominant TESE orientation and the unconscious pull of FI and I. In summary, Napoleon's personality can be understood through the mogul's archetype, driven by dominant TE and auxiliary SE functions. This interplay ultimately shaped Napoleon's legacy as both a master strategist and a leader whose ambitions led to his downfall.